Ohayo gozaimasu, minasan. I forgot to hit go live. That's okay. Daijoubu. So, uh, this morning I will be doing some Japanese studying. And as you can tell already, I use this site a fair amount. I use Duolingo a lot. But I kind of only use it for the basic hiragana and katakana. I've gone down to here. I haven't gone too far. My goal, honestly, is to just get down to here. But all in due time. All in due time. So, what I'm going to do before I do any of that, yeah, what I'm going to do before I do any of that is I'm going to show you everything I have that I'm using to study over the course of this entire series and the entire study journey myself. So, yeah, I have been studying off and on, but I would not say I've made progress that I'm happy with. And I'm doing this series to kind of keep myself a little more accountable. Because when there's nobody to tell you you're doing it wrong or you're not doing it enough, there's always the internet. And they will always tell you you're doing wrong and you're not doing enough. So, yeah. Anyways, let's switch over scenes. Come on. Come on, computer. I believe in you. Okay. I'm going to show you all the things I've been using. Okay. How do we do this? Okay. So first, I was in school, college, and I took a course, and I utterly failed it because I was not prepared to actually study something. It was an online course while the rest of my courses were in person. I realize how many people are doing online courses now, so this is going to sound really bad, but I probably would fail every single one of them because I suck at doing online courses. Like, I genuinely need so much motivation and so much, like, somebody pushing me to do something in order for me to stay focused. So that's why I do videos. That's why I do stuff like that. It's a lot easier for me to keep myself accountable and to push myself forward. So, but yeah, this is what I started with. And there's mixed reviews about this online. They're pretty good, but it's mostly just like generalized statements that you would say. So this would give me this series here, JFBP, Japanese for busy people, would give me enough understanding to guide my way through most like basic conversations. So a lot of the stuff like that this book will cover is like how to introduce yourself, how to, ask about the business hours, ask how much something is. So it's more about like this series specifically is more about just like really basic communication skills. So, and here's the thing. Like I said, I failed horribly. So, despite the class going through most of this book, I made it through the first chapter. So, we're going to try to do a little better this time. So yeah, like it's got like writing and stuff at the front. There's like saying people's nationality and stuff like watashi wa Kanada-jin desu, but you don't necessarily, there's not a ton of like super applicable stuff. And this is one of my only gripes with this series is that like sure it tells you the names of things, but only like a handful of things. Like you go through, I've browsed this entire book, and there's like 40 things that it learns to teach you how to say, and like half of them are alcohol or food. So it's like I don't know how useful it will be. Okay, so for reference, I actually made it to Unit 4 on my own recently. So, like, a lot of, like, transportation and stuff, and now they feel like you've earned a weekend excursion. So, four units in, they're like, okay, so now you're going to learn how to talk when you're at a hot spring. So, yeah, that's where I started. Now that I'm learning on my own, I'm aiming to expand my repertoire. That means not just basic Japanese. Now, as you can tell, I'm not saying very much Japanese right now because that is how confident I am in my Japanese. But hopefully by the end of this series, I'm going to continue learning even past the series, but hopefully by the end of this series, I can proficiently speak at least 3 sentences that don't sound like they hurt to say. Like, at the beginning of the stream when I was like, Ohayo gozaimasu minasan, it's like, it hurts. It's like, I feel like I'm very over-pronouncing things, which, for me, is not an issue usually, because in English, I have a very, like, minimalized voice, and I don't say a lot of, like, hard value, what? I don't say a lot of hard syllables. I'm very, like, subdued. And I think that's 2 things. I think that's working in customer service. I'm used to talking a lot softer. I'm used to, like, not saying a whole lot. And I'm also used to the mask now. So in the mask, the more you talk, the more you open your mouth and, like, try to pronounce things, it moves the mask down. And it just, like, and then you're like, So you try to talk like this, and you'll notice that I don't say some things that, like, what's a good example? That's like, instead of saying, like, hard S's, saying that kind of hard S, it's like saying the hard S. But you don't hear that. You really don't hear that when I'm working because I'm wearing the mask. So a lot of people that I'm talking to, they seem to understand everything I'm saying fine. And I've, like, asked people, like, hey, is this good? Can you understand me? And they're like, yeah, I can. And I'm like, okay, that's all I care about. Anyways. Not that book. These ones. Now, while watching the Chris Broad Abroad in Japan channel, Tokyo Lens, and a couple others, I realized that traversing Japan requires an understanding of basic kanji, which I was not ready for. Especially with that book, it's like all hiragana and katakana. Like, it doesn't address, the more complex kanji structures, I need a good example. It doesn't address this kind of stuff, like the kanji structures. So, I have this Essential Japanese Kanji, which I've already started to go through the first one. It's actually really good. I really like it. It basically shows you where the kanji comes from. Like, when I lifted it up before. Actually, I'll just, yeah. This is a good way. Like, as you can see, it shows you, like, where they're inspired by. Okay, everything's reversed. So, where the actual, like, kanji structure is inspired by, which helps me a lot because I'm a visual and audio learner. So if I can associate things, everything is easier. So yeah, this is really good. I really like this. But that does not teach me how to speak Japanese. It simply shows me, hey, this is what this symbol means. And it's like, okay, I can understand that. So hopefully by the end of going through those 2, I will feel a little better in navigation. Finally. Grammar. practice makes perfect. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So grammar is the one thing that I felt was going to be my biggest hurdle. And I even in English it has been a hurdle as somebody who writes a whole lot. Like I do like article writing practice, I do screenwriting, stuff like that. My verbal grammar versus my written grammar is way better. Like even my vocabulary when I write is way more accurate. It like it's the difference between like saying, "Hey, I did good," and writing, "I did well." You know, it's not just like the grammar, but the vocabulary. So everything kind of fits together, and I'm really happy that I have that, because even though I've just started to look at it, I know it's gonna help because it's laid out really nice. It's laid out really nice. I have my books. I haven't really used them yet. See that? So, but it's just set up perfectly so I can actually write, characters in the appropriate space as the appropriate size. Because, as I've pointed out, I suck. I don't write Japanese. I don't speak it because of my confidence right now. So I'm aiming to get there. Next, we have beautiful flashcards. Yeah, flashcards. Every study session should have flashcards. Freaking amazing, man. Because, like, and then on the backs, you have all the, so you have like your base kanji, and then you have like the most common uses on the back, right? And I have a lot of them. I said I'm going to learn my kanji. I'm going to learn my kanji, okay? I'm going to get learned. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. Getting learned, That's what this is. I have Hiragana Practice, which this is a brand new book, so I just started on this one. And it's just daily practice. That being said, this is on lined paper, so it is a little harder to consistently get the size, but I am practicing that consistency. I doubt I'm going to actually be writing that much, just because of how, like, technology-based the world is right now. So, but yeah. Got that. And then we got the most important book in any learning repertoire, a dictionary. Now, I have a beautiful plan with this, and I've already started, but I will say it has taken me a long time, just because of my skill at writing kanji is pretty bad. My goal, and this is I know a very like out there goal, is to do 2 pages of kanji a day. That's it. Just 2 pages of kanji. And I did the math. It'll take me several years to get through the book. I'm hoping that like 2 days or 2 pages of kanji a day, I can eventually get to a point where I'm like doing it more and doing like 4, 5 pages, 6 pages, eventually get to the point where my proficiency is good enough that I could do it, So yeah, that's the like physical learning supplies. I ended up winning a free Rosetta Stone thing, so I have Rosetta Stone. I haven't really used it, but I have it. It's okay. It's okay. I like Rosetta Stone. It's just it requires using my mic and a lot of talking. And as I've pointed out before, I feel very uncomfortable doing that, which I guess Rosetta's good for that then, because I need to get comfortable if I'm going to be talking to anyone, really. So yeah. So now that we've gone through that, I'm gonna do a bit of Duolingo. Just kind of go over, do a little review, and I think that'll be it for this stream. This setup, this stream, is to set up the rest of the learning journey. I really want to get to a point where I can feel comfortable having a conversation with somebody in Japanese. And if I stick to these and do these daily, like I have been the last couple months, I think I can be there literally by the end of the year, just with how much progression I've seen myself. Yeah, because I've only been doing this since January. So it's progressing. Like, I'm getting there, but it'll take time. And I know that. So I'm just going to take it one little bit at a time, and we're going to do some Duolingo. I don't know how loud this is going to be. Duolingo has a habit of, like, breaking my speakers. Nice. So I'm going to, before I do anything, I'm going to open up my volume mixer and unless it's not going to let me, turn down my Chrome. Oh, it's muted. Does that change anything?
1
See, I told you that's loud. It's way louder than me. There we go.
1
A little lower. There we go. So we're just going to go through this.
おはよ
Gonna go through the hiragana and katakana and maybe do a couple other things. Ohayo. Nana.
Nana.
I still haven't figured out. This is one thing that gets me. I still haven't figured out why sometimes you use nana. And sometimes you use shichi. Haven't quite figured it out. It's the same with this. Everybody knows anybody that's a weeb or an otaku knows that Shiro is white. But
白い
Shiroi is also white.
はい
So it's conditional stuff like that I need to figure out, like, when do I use one or the other? Is it just like saying yeah or yes, or is it more like saying yes and somebody agreeing? You know where it's like it means the same thing in context, but out of context they can mean other things.
7白
So, 6
6
2
2
2 3
3
3
3
赤
赤
3
3 2
2 6
6 1
1
1
1
赤
赤. Sorry, I'm speed running this. Teriyaki.
照り焼き
照り焼き
Everybody knows teriyaki. Teriyaki. Sushi.
寿司寿司
Sushi. I feel like I still have to turn it down a little bit. Because I myself am quiet. Ski.
好き
Okay. Another thing. Ski, aishiteru. I know there's a couple other words that are kind of along those lines. I have so many mixed messages from, getting taught from a Japanese tutor. I have one every weekend where I kind of like ask a bunch of questions, and that's their tutor to me. Like, that's how they tutor me. They don't help me with questions like homework or anything like that because I'm not in school. At least not for the current time. I was in school, but I'm not right now. But yeah, where do you use which one is kind of muddied, and I think that's partially due to like culture, and then you have like anime and stuff like that where they've like really over dramatized some of them, like saying ski. I've seen people like use it very lightly, and then I've seen people use it in a very heavy context. So that kind of stuff I need to figure out. Again, like
汚
kitanai.
い
I've seen like, is it kumoi? That means dirty or filthy. I think that's more referring to people though. Nomu is
Nomu.
drink.
こんにちは
Konnichiwa. Okay. If anyone has heard Japanese in their entire life, they should know konnichiwa. Just saying.
こんにちは好き
Ski. Kitanai.
汚い汚い
Kitanai. Help if I know how to use my keyboard. Oh,
甘い
am I? Blech. Am I?
飲む
Nomu. Oh. Sorry. I immediately... I've never made the connection before, but Nomu, because I'm watching My Hero right now. That's kind of funny. Anyways. Hoshi.
欲しい
甘い
Kiru.
着る着る
Kiru. Kiru. Maybe it's actually slower. Like, Kiru is probably wrong. It's probably Kiru.
欲しい
Hoshi. Want. Okay, so I know I'm flying through these, and it looks like I know them really well. But pattern recognition is a thing, and being able to actually see them out of this simple context is still hard for me. Like, natsu.
夏
Natsu. Senaka.
背中
Fuyu.
冬
犬
Ugh. Inu. I can thank Korone for that one.
家
冬
Fuyu. So that's winter. Inu.
犬目
Me.
目
Me. Oh, I'm not in the type box. Kumori.
曇り
夏
Natsu. Okay, we're flying through these.
目
Me.
曇り
Kumori. Okay, this one by far is the easiest easiest with just this context, because kumori for me immediately sounds like cloudy, which is easy. Heya.
部屋
家
Yeah. I used to get those ones like consistently mixed up. Me.
目部屋
Heya. Yeah.
家昼
Hiru. My goodness, my brain just like. Anyways,
昼 部
heya.
屋
Hi. Yosh. I know like simple phrases, okay? I can be like really simple. I can be like, yeah, let's go. So. Ginko.
銀行
銀行
Denma.
電話
There is another word. So there is another word for phone or like cell phone that I haven't learned yet. I know there is another word for it because I said denwa to my tutor and they're like, they had a moment of like, that's not right. There's another word for that. But then they didn't really explain it. That was last weekend, so I'll have to follow up on that. It was one of the last things like that we were talking about. I need some water. I need some water. Ugh. Okay. Kaban.
カバン
Kaban. Bag. Ginko.
銀行
Kippu.
切符
Kaban.
カバン
Ocha.
お茶
Now, when I first started doing this, I used to have fun doing every single kind of like, because you can do ocha, you can do sencha, you can do there's, oh, I don't have it right now. I love tea, so I have a ton of tea, and like every Japanese green tea you can use in this question that I've had, you can use in this question, and it will say, yeah, you did it. It's good. So, just so you know, these questions are a little more open than I'm making them look. I'm just going with the basic answers, okay?
風
Okay, we're good.
風
カバン
Kaban. Denwa.
電話
Okay, Denwa. See, look at that kanji. Look at that kanji. Would I recognize that kanji out of context? Or at all? No? I need to learn.
Kaze.
I need to get so much better. This is kyo.
今日
電話
Denwa. Phone. Q.
9
切符
Kippu. It's a ticket.
お
but-
茶
Green tea.
9
Q.
今日
Kyo. Hi. So yeah, that's the hiragana. I'm not gonna do any of these. Like, it's funny. I have like a freaking 240-day streak, and these are broken. Like, I'm literally only using it for hiragana and katakana. I should be using it for more because it does actually have the kanji, and it does get into that. But yeah, let's finish katakana. Let's finish katakana for today. Erika.
エリカ
マリオ
Mario. France.
フランスエリカ
Erika. America.
アメリカジョン
John. Maria.
マリア
America.
アメリカ
Africa.
アフリカ
マリア
What I will say is Duolingo doesn't initially really teach you a whole lot about the individual like characters, but you get a feel for them if you practice it all the time. Like Erika, Rosia, Agia, John,
ジョンフランス
France. Because like I can read them now.
アジア アジア
But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm super proficient in them. I can just read these bricks. I know what these, like, if I see the characters in a certain pattern, I understand. Think of it like the unknown in Pokemon. I can actually read the unknown in Pokemon. I'm pretty proficient in that. But that being said, like, literally a single unknown I usually have issues with. But if I see them in context, I'm like, oh, I know what that means.
マリオ
Mario.
アメリカ
America. Ugh. イギリス
イギリス
アフリカ
Africa. Okay, katakana is really easy for the majority of it because
フランス
once you learn what the characters sound like,
イギリス
you basically can be like, okay, so what's it sound like in English? Okay, let's get close to that. Now, that being said, the UK is Igirisu. So, not quite the same. But yeah, well, it's okay. Brazil,
ブラジル
okay, I will admit, this being bra, it just Brazil, that right there, I always mess up. And it's because, especially on this monitor, but like in general, those two ticks I actually don't see very well. So I miss the, I don't even know what you call them. See, this is what self-study does, is like you get used to seeing things, but you don't actually know what they are. It's kind of the same with French. Like, I can understand what accents in French mean what. But do I know which one's an accent aigu? No. I probably would if I just spent like a couple minutes at it, because I did actually study that at some point. But,
ベ
yeah,
ルリン
it's something that comes with time, I'm sure.
ベルリンベルリンベルリンベルリンベルリン
Okay, why is it saying the whole thing? It used to be like Berlin. Berlin. Girisha.
ギリシャ
Girisha. Girisha. Girisha.
ギリシャ
Girisha.
ブラジル
Brazil. Norway. Sorry. Norway.
ノルウェー
Norway. I always want to say ve. And I blame every little bit of it on how I used to say it when I was trying to learn German. Because I wouldn't try to say the way you would say it in German. Like, I wouldn't try to say words the way you would say them in German. I would just literally change the W and V sound in English words and be like, that's German, right? Bull was out wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. Do you like my accent?
ロン
I'm
ド
all
ン
over the place. London. London. Berlin.
ベルリンギリシャ
Girisha. I have to Vietnam.
ベトナム
Vietnam.
スペイン
Spain. I live in a constant state of Spain. Minus the S. Warsaw. Warsaw.
ワルシャワ
ベトナム
Vietnam. My goodness, my hands are not working right. Oranda.
オランダ
That's another one. The Netherlands is Oranda. Not quite the same. But
ギリシ
Girisha.
ャ
You know, you can kind of get a feel for like how close they are. Spain.
スペイン
Spain. 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 Spain.
スペイン
Spain. The only difference is Spain have a longer
Norway.
N. Norway.
ノルウェー
Norway.
ノルウェー
Norway. I know I shouldn't be entertained by simple things like that, but
ノルウェー
Norway.
オランダ
Spain.
スペイン
ワルシャワ
Warsaw. Warsaw. Let's go. It took a second. Took a little time. Oh, I'm almost at the level 9. 250-day streak. Let's go. Can you guess what New York is? If you guessed New York,
ニューヨーク
you're right.
シカゴ
Chicago. I wonder what that is. Stockholm.
ストックホルムバンクーバ
Vancouver. Vancouver. I believe that's how you spell it. Chicago.
ーシカゴ
ニューヨーク
New York. Vancouver.
バンクーバーモスクワ
Moscow. A lot of like I can't necessarily say that. It's important to study early in the morning because that's when the brain is not working, and you get it working by studying language. So you associate the language with waking up and associate the language with your day-to-day life and normal routine. Anyways, Moscow. Los Angeles.
ロサンゼルス
Los Angeles.
ボストン
Boston. This is fun. This is fun. Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires.
ブエノスアイレス
Buenos Aires.
ロサンゼルス
Los... How do you spell that?
ロサンゼルス
Inglés. Inglés. Boston. Boston.
ボストンケニア
Ooh, this one's hard. Kenya. Kenya. Got it. Moscow.
モスクワ
ストックホルム
Stockholm. Kenya.
ケニア
Kenya.
ブエノスアイレス
I actually have a harder time spelling it in English than I do in Japanese. Mainly because it's not English per se. So yeah, that's the katakana hiragana rundown. Obviously, I'm practiced with those lessons. Those lessons I've done every day, and I can understand a decent amount. I usually do it on my phone, which means I only need to really do like one day of hiragana and then one day of kata and back and forth. But on the computer, you can only get 10 per try. So, anyways. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like there's normal stuff. There's like ohayo gozaimasu, domo, dozo, that kind of stuff. Like here you are, thank you, that kind of stuff. I said it backwards. Domo, thank you, dozo, here you are. Stuff like that. I have practice with that. I have practice with like konnichiwa, watashi wa kara desu. It doesn't it's hard to come across in Japanese because it's an L sound, and L and R sounds don't really translate very well. Like kaoru. I can say kaldes, but it sounds like cow. So I have to be really careful how I say my name. So yeah, I have knowledge of those kind of things, but I don't feel like super confident to actually talk to anyone and say those kind of things because, like, what do I say after that? They go, "Oh, Nihongo jozu," and then you just sit there like, "Hi." Yeah, no. And I have this line very practiced. I have this line. Gomenasai. Wakarimasen. I'm sorry. I don't understand. I'm like, hey, if I get this one down, maybe I could just survive Japan by saying like, hey, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I have no brain. Brain broke. Brain broke. But yeah. That's it for this stream. I kind of wanted to use this little like stream to show the beginning of me keeping myself accountable. So once a week, I will be doing these streams, and yeah, you guys can yell at me if I've made no progress. But I feel like, at least right now, I'm making progress. They will start off as streams. I think from now on, I'm going to try to do videos and hypercuts because studying not just this, but like doing like the books and stuff like that kind of needs to be cut down because it's like 4 hours of my day. But yeah, I appreciate you guys swinging by, and I hope you guys enjoy this series. I will be going more in depth on like hiragana, katakana, and like basic conversational structure next, like over the next week. And that's kind of what the next video is going to be. So hopefully you guys can like learn a little bit along with me. And if you know Japanese, feel free to correct me because I am learning off of all like non-audio based sources aside from Duolingo, which isn't necessarily the most accurate source. And I also know, and this is a big issue with me, is that apparently my Japanese is akin to a hick accent in Japan. Because I have, at least the way I talk, I'm all over the place, like, with my intonation. So when I speak Japanese, I end up putting emphasis on weird syllables, which in turn makes me sound like a hick. So apparently I have very rural hick Japanese sounding Japanese. I'm going to try my best to not do that. I'm aiming definitely more for the Tokyo style Japanese, but I do want to learn accents eventually. But that is far in the future. Far in the future for when I want to actually learn accents in Japanese. Because English accents are a little difficult. I find them a wee bit straining. I really have to learn how to do something different with my voice in order to make it work, you know? And sometimes I have to talk very, very crass. Why did I say crash? Crash. I have to talk very crass in order to get anything across. But that's okay. 'Tis what it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of take you guys along with me on this journey. I'm not necessarily teaching you guys Japanese. This This is more you just watching me struggle. Which apparently is a thing people like to watch, I guess. And, yeah. Yeah, do. So, for reference, because I won't be able to stream on Twitch or YouTube in about 3 weeks' time, I will be, or 2 weeks' time, I guess. Now, holy crap. I have about 2 weeks left of being able to stream, and then I don't know when, at any point in the foreseeable future, I'll be able to stream again. So I'm going to be doing a lot more YouTube, which is why I'm on YouTube now. Because, yeah, uploading videos to Twitch is a thing, but it doesn't actually, it just doesn't work. So yeah, I'm on YouTube now. We chillin'. We chillin' like a villain. Yeah. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching this. I will be continuing my long learning journey in weekly videos. I'm going to keep them weekly because I think any more than that or less than that is just yeah. Yo, Rip. I'm gonna be streaming League here in a short little while, so don't worry. I'll see you shortly. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching again. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, take it easy. I'm sorry.